Ready. Play.
To maybe the biggest talking point before the tournament started, which is Iga Swiatek, and she played her first round match against Sramkova today, coming through 3-3. Iga was a breakdown in the second. Carson.
Yeah, she's played much better here, but a win is a win, and I feel like we'll say that for a lot of players today. Some players had quite routine wins. Obviously, she's established a pretty high standard at Roland Garros, winning 4 of the past 5 titles. So regardless of her form over the last couple of months, I still think there's a lot of expectation for her. It's a win, not the cleanest win. Sramkova is not necessarily the easiest opponent to play against either. She's going to give a lot to you, but Iga gets the win here.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting to see. Obviously, there's a huge amount of pressure on Swiatek at the moment. She doesn't even have her own quarter here for the first time in 4-5 years. So it's always going to be a bit of a challenge just trying to get back onto court and get through these early rounds. But she's been here for a long time, Damian, hasn't she? She arrived literally straight after her loss to Collins in Rome. She came straight here, didn't she?
Yeah, I think after Rome, there were definitely like 2 approaches she could have taken. One was just like go back to Poland, I don't know, train there, or basically just not look at a tennis court for a few days, which I think I would have done in her place. But obviously she knows herself the best. I thought that like all this build up, sitting at a tournament which you really want to win for like 2 weeks, for me, that would be torture. But obviously, yeah, she and her team, I mean, they made another decision. For now, it seems like it's fine. Like, definitely wasn't panicking on the court. We're not really going to know until we see her coming up against one of the top players, whether like, the mindset things, whether they are all reset by now or not. But yeah, for now, obviously, it's not the type of win that she usually gets in Roland Garros round 1, which is usually just like 6-love, 6-1 against somebody. But Sramkova also did threaten, and I think even the 6-3, 6-3 is a little misleading. Like, it easily could have been closer than this. So, just a good start, I guess. And we won't know really what Iga is made of at this Roland Garros until much later in the event.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree, because we were kind of all expecting, as you said, that sort of like love and one sort of situation. But it's not an easy first round draw as she's had in years gone by, but still came through. And her round 2 opponent, Raducanu, also played today against Wang. Damian, obviously Raducanu had a medical timeout at the end of the first set when she was serving for it, but it seemed like it didn't really affect her that much in sets 2 and 3.
Yeah, I think regardless of like the potential physical issues, second round is going to be very difficult for her. Today, just nice to get through, because obviously she built up some momentum for this finally. The Kasatkina win in Strasbourg and everything, and it would be just very disappointing to lose in the opening round after that, in a winnable matchup at the very least. But of course, now it's just going to be like a completely different challenge. Which actually is also kind of funny, because didn't Swiatek play Sramkova in Australia in the second round and then Raducanu in the third round? So basically, she's repeating that same pattern. Well, in Australia, both matches were very lopsided. Now at Roland Garros, the first one wasn't that easy, but I think this one might be actually more straightforward.
I could see it kind of going both ways, in a sense that it'd be a real test, like their match at Stuttgart last year, which was I think 7-6, 6-3, and that was actually a really strong battle. But what are your thoughts on this sort of matchup coming into their round 2 match, Carson?
I think it's a really good win for Emma. Wang has had a pretty good year so far. She's ranked, I believe, 43. So this was a pretty evenly ranked first round matchup. Both of them have played well, so it's a good win for her. As Damian mentioned, had a nice win last week in Strasbourg, so there's a lot of momentum coming into this. Certainly this is going to be a different type of challenge for Emma, though, and mean, there was a medical timeout. Hopefully there's not any ongoing issues from that as they go into their next match, but there will be a couple days before then. Hopefully she can be healthy and we get a good match out of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of see this being one tight set, one kind of not so tight set in terms of, going into this sort of matchup. We know that Iga's been dominant in the past, but I feel as though Emma can pose a threat for a certain period of time. But I think as you kind of get more into the match, it'll be more and more of a challenge to sustain that high level that Emma's going to have to bring to challenge Iga. But yeah, I see it kind of, unless Iga brings, she doesn't turn up on the day and Emma's fully firing. But yeah, I just don't see it fully panning out for Raducanu, unfortunately, from my perspective anyway.
I mean, to get Swiatek into any sort of like panic or whatever, I mean, you first have to actually put pressure on her. I don't know what Emma does it with. Like, that was also the Australian Open match. It's just super heavy strokes of both wings from Swiatek, and what the hell is Raducanu supposed to do? I do think a lot of her assets are just like taken away completely in this matchup, and it's difficult. Their Stuttgart matches were good, both of them. Indian Wells, Australia, not so much. Well, I mean, I guess I'm slightly more optimistic that we might get a match here than in Australia, which is pretty funny, but I guess that's where we are right now.
I do think we probably will get more of a matchup than we did in Australia.
The bar isn't high, so...
No, exactly. And just thinking about how Emma was serving then, the serves developed a lot since that point. Emma was struggling with double faults and... she hadn't really found her rhythm with her ground strokes. You could see, if you look at the difference from her second round match with Anna Samova, she kind of handed it to her with unforced errors, and Raducanu just kind of grinding it down instead of hitting winners off the ground. And now she's kind of hitting a bigger ball now. So yeah, I kind of expected to be a lot closer than it was in Australia, but still Swiatek comes through.
Raducanu, Iga Swiatek.
I mean, tough one for Emma. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, 4-time champion. Yeah, it's a free hit. I hope for Emma that there's a couple, or at least one match, I think maybe in Australia this year when she barely laid a glove on Iga. If I'm not saying that you would ever take this result, but if it ends up being 4-3, 4-4, or she gets to a tiebreak or even wins a set, any of those, I think it would not round off her clay court season in a good way, but it would go, you know what? We could look at the last 4 or 5 weeks for Emma and go, that was, without a shadow of a doubt, her best clay court season.
Yes.
Yeah, of course, she did push her on clay a bit in Stuttgart, didn't she, last year?
Yeah, very different clay.
Yes.
But yeah, I remember that she played Emma. I think she played Iga in 22 and 24. She's played Iga twice at Stuttgart, and both times they were relatively close sets. So yeah, I'm optimistic that Emma can, get some good points against Iga. I just think that if she's physically struggling, Iga's a nightmare to play in this certain circumstance. And also, I think Iga's level is a lot more consistent, even this version of Iga. And I think Emma's is a lot more up and down. So I think that she'll try to make it as good a fight as she can. But and I don't think she's going to get steamrolled. But I do think Iga it's going to take a lot to take Iga down.
Yeah, I kind of agree with everything you said. I will just add this, that she had 1 or 2 physical issues again today, Emma, albeit I don't think it was the back, which I know had troubled her in Strasbourg last week in her loss to Danielle Collins. She's a little bit unfortunate with the draw, obviously playing the 4-time champion in the second round. Otherwise, she could have maybe even gone another round or 2 further. But I think, like you, I do see it probably ending in a straight sets loss for Emma, and Iga, of course, maybe breathing a sigh of relief after Marta Kostyuk's loss yesterday.
Yes, I think that's certainly made her path to the 4th round like a lot less treacherous. Yeah, I think that's going to help her feel more confident going into the second week and, try and keep going deep in these tournaments. Certainly, I think the target needs to be do better than Rome. And that's going to give us some optimism for that and get some momentum going, because she's going to need it for whoever she plays in the fourth round, but particularly if it's Rebecca or Ostapenko.
Indeed, yeah.
Solid performance at how pleased are you with the match today?
Yeah, for sure it was intense, and a lot of tough games and a lot of chances. So I'm happy that I used some of them, and I got the lead in both sets, and could finish it strong at the end.
Can you talk about the mental part of the game? Because, for example, on your service game, after maybe the first two service game, it was, I would say, easy in the sense of you were winning most of the points. Emma was building a lot of pressure on you, but at the same time you responded very, very well every single time. I was wondering if you were really that much prepared, or kind of you started it after she broke in the first game.
Oh, honestly, I think it's too complicated question. I don't know if I thought of it, that way. I knew that even though, she started playing at the beginning pretty with her hand loose, like she had nothing to lose, and I totally get that. Sometimes it is like that, but I knew that I was kind of questioning if she's going to be able to keep the same intensity throughout the whole match. It wasn't about, service games or return games. I was just, waiting for my chances to break back, and I was sure that I'm going to get them.
Iga, on her serve, can you talk about her serve as a shot? Is it difficult to read? Is it the placement? What is it that when she is serving well makes it difficult?
I think she has a really good placement. She was serving, even though it wasn't like 180, it was sometimes, on the line and pretty tricky. So she's mixing it up, and yeah, she has a pretty good serve.
You played Emma here 2 years ago. Were there any differences today with what was going on the other side of the net compared to then, or no difference at all?
Well, honestly, I played so many matches since then that it's, I don't really remember how it went, 2 years ago. I just remember I was, surprised with how she can spin the ball on her forehand, because we never played before. So I never knew she's capable of that, and today I knew that, so I wouldn't say there was a much difference in that, but for sure, she's older, she has learned a lot, and I would say the intensity was a little bit higher, yeah.
Is Emma someone you would look forward to play many more matches, because it seems like a good matchup? It was a great match 2 years ago, it was another great match today, so it seems like a good fit.
For fans, for sure, it's nice.
For you, it's also nice to look forward to have someone where it's.
Well, we have plenty of players to play against on WTA Tour, so I wouldn't say, Emma is the one specific that I'm, looking forward to play with, because we have a tough matchups, every week, so it doesn't really matter for me.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.